born in 1974, the future was going to be awesome. We were going to be walking on the moon with our dogs. We would wear fish bowls on our heads. Everything was going to be completely fantastic. So I'm going to try as hard as I can, given that some of the things I'm going to talk about are fairly serious, to argue that tomorrow could be better than today. And emphasize the could. I think it will be if we work really hard. And all of this, wrong slide. Basically, the entire talk is going to be an elaborate argument that the discipline of the century is engineering, and that engineers are crucial, and your next 100 years is going to be fabulous. So this is Science magazine, the preeminent science publication in this country, and they had a special issue on energy in 2010, which talked about, and we can probably focus in a little, do we have enough energy for the next transition, biofuels, nuclear power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, well, that was interesting. I'm obsessed about energy, as you'll shortly find out. But I had it in the back of my mind that I'd seen this issue of Science before. Actually, in that 2010 issue, they're calling for a national US energy policy. The time is now. So I went back to the 1974 issue of Science, and this is the special energy edition. This is the year that I was born. And it's kind of great. I love the titles of these articles. And if you read science magazines from 40 years ago, the quality of engineering and science writing was so much higher than it is today, which is a plea for us to start communicating better again. But I love the titles like, where is it? The public and private failure of the energy community. Anyway, I can't see it now. But anyway, this is the same article as we had 40 years later, and we really haven't solved the problem. We haven't got a US energy policy. So the reason I got super fascinated about energy is because of this, and because of my love of kites, which you've just seen. In 2006, I started a company called Makani Power, and we're trying to build this thing. What is this thing? So the observation was there's a lot of wind at higher altitudes than you can reach with a traditional wind turbine. You can sort of see this graph, and as you go higher and higher in the sky, the wind is stronger and it blows more often. So we were like, well, how do we get up there and get that untapped renewable energy resource? And again, you can see, because of that, the power per square meter of machine you have to build is much, much higher the higher you go. So we thought about it a lot, and we wanted to fly a kite. And in principle, the idea is let's get rid of the gearbox and get rid of the nacelle and get rid of the tower and just fly one wingtip around in circles and produce electricity that way. And in the process, get rid of a lot of this wind machine and make it a lot cheaper to produce electricity. So the proposition is sort of this wing on the left versus this machine on the right. Now you all think I'm completely crazy, I'm sure, but here is a video, and it's 4 years later, and I'm going to show you that we sort of now have made it, in principle, all work. So here is our kite. This is about 6 meters or 20-ish feet in wingspan. This is launching under electrical power up into the sky. You can see little turbines on the wing. These are the cameras on the wing. You can now see it flying in circles in the sky. And the power of the wind is actually making it fly. We're controlling that flight path. You can perhaps see it flying there. Okay, well, we couldn't see that, but you'll see it again in a second. This is the power that's being produced from each of those turbines. This is the flight path going round and round in circles. The hard thing about this is you have to fly this circle, which is basically a 9G barrel roll, for 25 years without crashing. So it looks great so far, and we're making everything work, and we can now fly it for about 48 hours without crashing and producing a lot of power. It looks like it'll be cheap, but there's, there is still some work to do to prove that it will work for 25 years. But in principle, this is now sort of a new option in the bid to build renewable energy. And I love this video. I can watch it all day. It actually doesn't change pretty much from here. So this is total success. This means that we're winning because you see it didn't hit the ground. Didn't hit the ground, and we'll just keep doing this, and hopefully we just keep doing that for 25 years, and we'll make wind energy that's cheaper than coal without any subsidies, which is sort of the big goal for renewable energy systems. It really just does do this over and over. So I like those sorts of visions of the future to sort of turn back to the, to the 8 or 9 or 10-year-olds in the world, in the audience in the world. Like, how cool is that, right? We're going to produce energy with kites. We all love kites. This could be good. So now, to give you the history of my last few years, when you're out telling people I'm going to fly a wing the size of a 747 in circles at 2,000 feet at 200 miles per hour for 25 years, they think you're crazy. So you have to have a very elaborate argument for why you would want to do such a thing. So I'm going to give you that elaborate argument. It sort of starts for me with, this is the time series of the 400,000 year trace of the carbon dioxide problem, and as you can see over there, it's rapidly increased in the past century. And so that sort of led me to building up this sort of longer argument about let's think rationally about energy, and because I'm obsessive compulsive, it's completely out of control, my analysis, and you're going to see a whole lot of it, and I'll drag you through it. So there's going to be two stories. One about if we have to power all of these people with their 16 terawatts, how can you possibly do it? And then that's a very impersonal story. It's just about terawatts and big